Chairman sir and dignitaries of the class, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's very difficult to speak after such visuals. It makes great impact. And also the background which Mr. Ojibwe wanted said. I changed slightly the background which I thought of. But my basic plan is to put the matter in a different way. First, I try to analyze the socio-political background in West Bengal, against which one present situation has to understand. Microanalysis as it is called. Then, towards the end, I will have some after history, then the microanalysis, and then some recommendations if thought relevant. Early in the beginning of the century, in a discussion organized by the Bangladesh Institute of International Strategic Studies in Dhaka, Professor Imtiaz Ahmed of Dhaka University had described the border of Bangladesh with India, that is northeastern states, as a religious border in 2002, and went further to say there should be dual voting. That means residents in the border should be able to vote both in India and Bangladesh. Reacting to this, a strategic analyst on this side said, considering the communal basis of partition in 1947, fears of the northeastern states, particularly Assam, of another partition in case of illegal immigrations are not reined in, cannot be brushed aside. It's building up gradually. Referring to this, what is described as demographic invasion. Turning the cultural survival of Assamese Hindus, and the commentator said, the rapid growth of international Islamic fundamentalism may provide the driving force behind the merger of Assam with Bangladesh. Well, it's a dream and a threat both. As the noted journalist in Assam, Mr. D.N. Bejburu has said, the plan to alter the demography of Assam and northeastern state has been in motion much before the partition of India. It's to support from the Census Commissioner of Assam in 1981, who deserves quoting in extensive variety for his portion. Probably the most important development event in the province of Assam during the last 25 years, an event which seems likely to alter permanently the whole future of Assam and destroy more surely than did the Burmese invaders of 1820 the whole culture and civilization, and the invasion of vast hordes of Bengali Muslims immigrants, mostly from the districts of Eastern Bengal and particularly Mymensingh district. You can see the gradual build-up. The force behind this projection has not lessened a bit. With the ruling government of the day, earlier also, not seriously bothering about the continued illegal migration from Bangladesh, and also playing footsie with the most ill-conceived and dangerous political game behind the promulgation of the IMDT Act. I'm sure you all know, even though the Supreme Court has pointed out, declared null and void, still in existence actually through some devious means. The IMDT Act is the only of its kind in India, in the world, with the country having two sets of foreigners, law for the foreigners. It's a definite ploy to help the illegal Muslim migrants to stay put on Indian soil for a pity. This self-inflicted injury. Well, before we move to the next aspect, it is worth noting that the continued illegal migration, immigration, and subsequent increase in Muslim population in the bordering districts had also resulted in actual physical contraction of the Indian boundary, as a survey made in 1890 had shown. Friends, This historical backdrop will be necessary in appreciating the present situation. This development got the real momentum, the Bangladesh government turning into an Islamic state with the necessary constitutional changes in 1988 under the Irshad government. But we believe that we need to understand these fundamentalist forces did really start becoming radical with the declared support and backing from the Begum Khalida government and with active Pak ISI backing. It may be appropriate at this stage to understand slightly the geopolitical realities in this subcontinent. To cut short the story, suffice it to say that the Bangladesh Dhaka has turned into Kathmandu. I repeat, Bangladesh Dhaka has turned into Kathmandu. Because Kathmandu used to be the playing field for international forces, countries, to play their one-upmanship game, which is now shifted to Dhaka under the active connivance support of ISI. Secondly, it is also geopolitical reality that the internal situation develops in a country, neighboring country, which is called neighborhood countries, does affect the situation in other countries. And India is mostly so because of racial and ethnic religion and ethnic reasons. It is very true in respect of countries like Sri Lanka and Pakistan, as is often in evidence. Tragically, the pride of Hindus in Bangladesh hardly raises even an eyebrow, rather causing any scar at all in India as a whole, even in West Bengal in particular. Well, we do not have a proposed guidance on this at this stage. Another typical factor, socio-political analysis. I am into macro-analysis now. In Bengal scenario, one has to clearly understand this. It has been a historical development in Bengal that the middle-class intelligentsia, who go by the generic nomenclature of Bhadralo, has played a significant role in the history and growth of Bengal. Even much before independence, the well-known freedom fighters, whom the Britishers used to call terrorists of Bengal, comprising both Hindus and Muslims at that time, had come from this genre. The Congress in West Bengal took after the partition, depended on, rather cashed on them, leftists had come to power. Similarly, after continuous brainwashing of this segment over the years, and now the TMC has now come to power when the intelligentsia backed them to the heel. As a friend whose present chair has beautifully put it, these Bhadraloks were responsible for the rise of leftist movement in India, which proved disastrous. Ironically, Mamata Banerjee is now fishing in this legacy, maybe somewhat in an unplanned manner. There is yet another subtle but highly important angle to the socio-political study. Social scientists point out that there is a clear hiatus divide between the Hindu poor in rural areas and who outnumber the Muslim counterparts and the so-called Bhadralok community. The latter looks down upon the former to the extent that poor Hindus in rural areas find allies among the Muslims and Christians and get converted also. This community will thus provide excellent fodder to the radical Islamist forces to be exploited to the heat. Yet another development, a section of Bengali are the so-called Hindu middle class of the leftist genre who, like the Muslims, believe in universal brotherhood, Ummah, had in a national seminar in the capital city of Delhi, where some of us were present, suggested that the Hindus should all convert themselves into Islam. Hindus should all convert themselves into Islam so that all religious discord could be removed and will usher in universal peace. What a somnolent thought they are. Same thing applies to the exploitation of the Muslim, which has been going on for years, and confining myself to my analysis of the West Bengal scenario only. The border politics of West Bengal started changing from being urban-centric to ruralization, if I may use this terminology. It is left, especially because or through the mechanism of the Panchayat Raj. Apparently, the TMC has outplayed the left in this game also. And the big showdown is due. Panchayat elections are coming. In any case, one has to keep this factor in mind in analyzing growing development in West Bengal. Yet another factor that counts in the socio-political arena of Bengal, though not in pronounced manner, is the deep-rooted animus. I'm using this terminology for one or any other better term, but the landed characteristics of West Bengal against those who come from Bangladesh in droves after the hounded out in the partition riots. A structure among the latter, comparatively well off and highly educated, and by and large got themselves assimilated in the general milieu. The deep distrust and dislike for the Eastern, those come from East Pakistan, among the British in West Bengal, do count even today in the field of electoral politics. Friends, if I may take a minute, only 1 minute for this. These sort of Hindus coming from the then East Pakistan is the worst affected in the sacred land of Hindustan. Looked down upon by the counterparts in West Bengal and totally overlooked by the government of India, unlike their counterparts from West Punjab. They are literally driven out of the West Bengal to Gondakar and the jungles. Well, that is a different story. In my humble assumption, this socio-political background is necessary understanding impact. I've tried to now point out some impacts as I understand. According to a cross-section of observers of the local scenario in West Bengal, the meticulous intelligentsia who have been deciding the developments in West Bengal, in urban areas, particularly in Kolkata, has not, I repeat, has not reacted at all to the developing phenomenon in Bangladesh. What a pity, it's a pity but a painful truth, as gathered by some close observers of the scene with whom I had the privilege to interact. They are coming from different sectors of West Bengal. But reverberations are being felt in rural areas, as reflected in somewhat but less publicized communal riots taking place in that state shown by Dr. Vanindra Ganguly. Overall, the communal situation getting in West Bengal structures and still and in not too distant future come to know very important factor that will add or adding fuel to the fire is the significant manner and a number of large-scale transfer of land holdings mainly in the districts, but also the post area of Calcutta-like, Kolkata-like Park Circus. The land holding ratio in the districts of Nadia, which used to be 60-40, 60 in favor of Hindus, has changed some years back against the Hindus. Now Muslims are 60% holding and 40% with the Hindus. And as Sri Gopal mentioned, about 9 districts in the border areas have already become Muslim majority. As early as, again some personal example, personal knowledge, a senior police officer in the state influence branch had predicted that these segments of the Muslims will not only dominate the state electoral politics, but may rather will one day produce a state chief minister. These are not far off. The first part of the reading has already come through, and we will tell the next. No wonder therefore the present phenomenon of political assertion of political radical forces in Bangladesh will play its due role in the electoral politics of West Bengal to start with sooner than earlier expected by me. If one would like to read the future scenario developing in another 5 to 10 years in West Bengal, the majority community in rural areas already was affected is bound to rise in protest when pushed to the wall against this scenario. The overall communal scenario will, whether one like it or not, will deteriorate. Particularly so against the background of continuous change in the political, in the demographic composition of the state. The resultant, it's my humble reading of the situation, the resultant law and order scenario from pure and simple communal clashes will lead to breakdown of the present system of governance, particularly given the backdrop of complete politicization of the administrative machinery from the highest to the lowest formation. Examples are much too many. The consequent fallout on the educational system, which was started deteriorating from the leftist route onwards, especially at the higher level, will lead to mass-scale intellectual exodus, which has already started. Those of you who know about Bihar, landed in Bihar, they send their children to Delhi. Anyway, the intellectual exodus, it will be followed by what happened during the leftist rule, the flight of capital from West Bengal. Another very typical analysis of the social scenario in West Bengal. West Bengal, Kolkata in particular, makes much of being the cultural capital of India. All this in the sheer to change emerge anarchical situation. Living conditions will vanish like dead dream in not too distant future. I will give you the impacts. And I dare do this even when the army chief is there, coming to the overall security scenario of the strategic implication of this phenomenon, emerging phenomenon. The sensitivity of the well-known chicken neck in the area between West Bengal and Assam, around the entire northeast, will be big concern, endangering all the northeastern states or even India. And if the armed forces will just get bogged down to protecting that part of the country, our friendly neighbor in the west may not hesitate to open another theatre on the other front, especially heightening the already tenuous security situation in JNK, which again in turn is certain to deteriorate or witness much deeper turmoil after the withdrawal of the US forces from Afghanistan in less than a year's time. The background which Mr. Douglas talked about China is another aspect. Any student of static studies cannot ignore the serious implication of this phenomenon. We are lucky that our army chief is there, he will go on this at much great length. Well, friends, I may be guilty of putting across some frightful scenario unnecessarily, but to my humble understanding, with the background of such issues I have, this acquisition may not be treated as a flight of fancy on my part. Well, my humble feeling is I may not be far from being right, though I wish I am. Well, friends, having put up such a scenario, it only behoves on my that I try to give some recommendations. I will share my thoughts on the recommendation after. Recommendations are, as you know, the remedial measures in such situations are very difficult. After all, as I put it, being a student of history, the forces of history are at times irreversible. Nevertheless, I can take 10 minutes. Given the specified character of the memory psyche, rather socio-economic political scenario, it will be necessary that the Bhadra community, if I may say so, or is aroused, or what am I saying so, is incited in which or practical manner is possible, which could be separately discussed later on. And it's possible because some session is getting indistinct intent. Secondly, on which my colleague Mr. Ori knows more than anybody else here, I just said that. The slew of measures bestowing undue benefits on the minority community, mostly in the name of the implementation of the regulation of the structural committee started with the leftist, and even much beyond that, present government. For apparent political gain or one upmanship must be stopped by taking recourse to appropriate legal steps by a group of, if available, fearless lawyers. Very difficult to get. Even if one such case may succeed, that is send a message. Next, friends, in this days of intensive resort to IT technology, the social media can be used extensively to build up the required psychological background and mental makeup to stand undue political pressure. Next, though highly difficult, one must think of how to cut off the financial flow, capital flow to the Islamic forces. It is a difficult job, but it is not difficult, not that is going to be done. And I might humble or honest hope that the right young groups may think of it and succeed in creating some appropriate measures, make them start thinking at least. At this stage, friends, I will take 2 minutes. I would like to add something, maybe because of my background in the practice forum. The friend whom I had quoted earlier is present here today. Referring to the very recent cheap fund scam and socio-economic fallout, he very appropriately assessed. It has made so many Hindus poor overnight. Where will they go? They will knock at the most of masjid. This has happened in the past and it still will repeat itself. The very ruefully observes, the Bengali intellectuals, by not recognizing the alienation of these poor Hindu brothers, are thus unknowingly playing in the hands of Muslims. He adds, what is required in West Bengal today is to ensure, mind his words, that the poor Hindus do not lose their faith in the religion. He brilliantly concludes, if Bengal fails today, India will be a victim of this loss of faith in the religion of its choice, Sanatana Dharma. And Sanatana Dharma concludes, or the key to human evolution and is India in this category. Friends, the greatest historian of the 20th century, Army was said the same thing, or the country of Ramakrishna, Ashoka and Gandhi. Finally, coming from the background, I cannot but emphasize that we need to build up suitable influence gathering mechanism as our revered forefathers, ancestors had done in the fight against the Britishers in mid-1890s. They did so with considerable success and had even succeeded in setting up functional revolutionary governments in 2 districts of the Combined Bengal, namely Midnapur and Kuchiragan. That feat is certainly quite cumulative. I'm sorry if I have taken more time, friends. I will be available to your bullets after when the chairman says. Thank you so much for your patience.